Alright, so here's how I made this speedometer. Here is the original faceplate for the speedometer, and as you can see, it's pretty close with the S-series speedometer. It's decently close. It's not perfect, that's fine. It's the back of the old gauge. Here is the gauge mechanism, and as you can see, so this is the original LCD right here. Focus. Focus matte. Doesn't want to focus. Okay. There we go. So, the LCD originally rested against this bottom part right here, this lip. As you can see, I moved it up. There is, I actually took I don't have a Dremel, so I took a drill and kind of carved this out. That hole right there and that hole right there correspond to these two holes that mount the gauge face. I did drill one hole there. If I could do it again, I would be a little bit more precise. I was decently precise in how I marked this right here, but I figured since I had the gauge skewed, it would be different, and I drilled a little bit higher to compensate for that. That wasn't the case, but that's okay. It doesn't show that much when it's put together. The reason I cut this out, so the display is actually in the perfect center of this LCD. It's only about that wide, which corresponds to that right there. I didn't want to cut the hole any bigger in this, and so basically I moved the LCD up. I don't have a Dremel yet. I need one. Looks like there's a digit stuck on there, almost. I can't tell. I did test this last night. I actually pulled this apart one more time just to show everybody. These LCDs are really easy to replace. You just pop them out and then you undo the connector there. They're about 20 bucks for any of you guys that own the VDO gauges. So we're going to stick this on. Line it up. I need two hands to do this. I don't have my tripod. So we're going to pause the video real quick while I put the screws in, but you get the idea. Okay, there it is assembled. The screws actually correspond with the where it originally mounted, which is right, oh, that's the back side. Do I have the, okay, there we go. This hole and this hole right here are where the screws mounted. This is the old mechanism. The reason I'm doing this is because I can't find the ratio adapter from my international parts catalogs. I have the numbers for them, but I can't find the actual adapter. It's really expensive, as is the cable. So I spent on this gauge. It was a blemished gauge. So this is the bezel, and you can see somewhere around here, right there, was one of the blemishes, and it was missing a light bulb. It's only got one instead of two. So I paid like 29 bucks for it, brand new. So it's a VDO cockpit gauge. The only other mod I had to do was the needle. So that is the S-series needle, and as you can see, right here is the tip of the VDO needle, and I actually took some sandpaper and sanded it into a point, and then I super glued the S-series needle on. So let's go ahead and put her on. The neat thing about these, I learned from a video, is you basically just you turn the needle to its stop, back and forth, and pull on it. So we're going to put the needle right about there, maybe a little bit lower, but let me push it on. Okay, that's perfect. 0 miles an hour is actually a little bit lower, if you center it, than the marks right there. So that's going to be perfect. This isn't going to be the most accurate gauge, but it'll be decently accurate. I have tested it. It boots up. And what's kind of cool is when you turn it on, this will do like the 3800 gauges where it goes all the way around. So it'll, I think we're at a stop there. It doesn't feel, that feels like a stop. So we're gonna go here and then back. There we go, there's the stop, okay. Yeah, that's the stop right there, okay. But anyway, so I have a cat in here with me. These are the instructions I printed out. And then I have this package right here. This is a very long cable. It's a sensor cable. On one end, it has 3 connectors, and on the other end it has 3 wires, black, white, and red. And in here is the actual sender right here. It's got the square peg. Gosh darn it. Sorry, my videoing is sucking today, but I'll just have to deal with it. So it's got the square peg that goes onto the transmission. And the neat thing about the S series is they're very closely related to the GM square bodies back in the day, since the gauges were AC Delco. So this uses the same sender, the GM sender. So this will just go right into the auxiliary transmission minus a ratio adapter, because I won't need one anymore. And then this will plug into it and then go into the back of the speedometer right here, into these plugs right here. And then what's really neat is there are no dip switches on this speedometer when you turn the bus on. So it has this, so I'll have to put a hole in the bezel on the bus, but when this does a trip odometer function, I did check, it has 0 miles on it currently, so it's brand new, which sucks. I would love to reprogram it, but you basically, when you turn the vehicle on, you hold this in and it'll go into a programming mode, and then it'll have you get ready, and as soon as you're ready you press the button again and it starts calculating, and you drive exactly 1 mile, and then when you reach that mile you stop and you press the button again, and then it what it does is it goes by the number of revolutions off of this guy, and then from there it knows how fast you're going, and it'll display it here. So I'll have a decently accurate speedometer, and I will have a as if you look here on the original, so 45 is almost vertical, and on this it is right there in between these 2 lines. So that is about the same. Maybe a little bit off, but that's okay. So it'll be accurate in the driving speeds. 35 will be, let's see here, 35 is right there, probably about 11 o'clock. So yeah, it's about the same, maybe a little bit, but that's okay. I'm not worried about that too much. I mean, it's pretty close when you look at it. This is pretty much centered right here, so the higher speeds may be a little bit different, but that's okay. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, there we go. This will be very nice, and it'll be nice having a non-GPS speedometer. The GPS speedometer does not always work right away, and it'll be nice having an odometer as well. Anyway, that's how I made this speedometer. Alrighty, so we got the speedometer hooked up, the 2 white wires, and everything corresponds with this guy here. So the 2 white wires go to pins 8 and 6 on top, and then pin 4, which is this guy right here, goes to positive when the key is on. So I tied it into the tax hot wire, which is, it's a yellow wire. So everything is plugged in nice and neat. Let's go outside here. So it comes out from the dash. I've already buttoned the hood, so I'm not going to reopen it. There's the old Speedo wire and ratio adapter, a little oily, and they go right there. It actually goes up the side on the, I have it zip tied to the air brake lines. So that works. So we got it all plugged in. So what I'm going to do now, there's a mess in here as per usual. So we're going to slide our speedometer and odometer back in. I had it in, but I pulled it out so you guys could see. Get it lined up with the holes. There we go. It's being a little annoying for some reason. Oh, the yellow wire is not going back in. I apologize. It is a little hard to do this one-handed. Okay, so got my pegs lined up. Pause the video. Okay, so got it in, nice and screwed. I turn the key on. Hopefully our radio's not blasting. Oh, it is. Okay. That's weird. It should cycle. Not sure why it's not. Unless I have it in here too tight. That could be messing with the motor. Let me see. I just had it cycle. Let me try again. Yeah, because it's stuck. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so we just had to loosen it just a little bit. It is. Get it just a little bit tighter. Let's see if that still works. I want it somewhat tight. There we go. So now all I got to do is get this hole lined up. There's my odometer. There's my regular. I got to get that hole lined up with the lens, which is somewhere in the seat behind me over there. Drill a hole in it, and then to program this, what I'm going to have to do is drive exactly. I'm going to have to push and hold this and turn the bus on, and then I'm going to drive it exactly 1 mile and stop, and then press the button again. And that should get me where I need to be. So, and then the speedometer should read. So we'll find out here in a bit. Hey YouTube, so we're on the Thomas here. This is the hookup for the speedometer that I'm using right now. Hall effect sensor, so that's basically a pin style, like a speedometer cable pickup. It's a GM style connector, and it you can't change the pins out, and it's the wrong pin. So I went out and got this guy right here, which is a Hall effect sensor. Not a Hall effect sensor, an inductive sensor. It uses magnets, like these guys right here. So we're going to hook it up like this. So I've already figured out how I'm going to do the wiring, but I have this guy right here, so it has to hang above the drive shaft. And so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go outside here. It rained like crazy yesterday. We had some tornadoes in the area too. None here. There was one not too far from here though. Okay, so there is the sensor that doesn't work. So I already got a wiring harness going, so we're going to splice into that. But what I'm going to do is I need to get the drill out. And we're going to hang this guy right up here, like so, above the drive shaft. And then from there, the inductive sensor will bolt in to one of these two holes here. And then I'm going to super glue some magnets on the drive shaft. And then once that is all hung and everything's working, excuse me, I'll have to go in and fix my wiring on the back of the speedometer. So this is the speedometer here is a VDO 85 mile an hour speedometer that I kind of kit bashed. So I screwed the faceplate for the S series speedometer on there, and I moved the odometer so that it was in the right window, and then I drilled a hole out for this. So I can actually put it into program mode, and then I have to drive it a mile for it to count the pulses, for it to get the right reading. Once I drive a mile, I stop, pull over, shut the bus off, turn it back on, and then the speedometer should be set. And a mile from the exit gate here to the shooting range, right through there, that's exactly a mile. So that's what we're gonna do. More to come in a second. All right, so we got it mounted. This is above the carrier bearing here. It's a little bouncy though. It's hard for me to move around down here. Yeah, see, it's a little bouncy, so I don't know how well that's gonna work. We'll just have to see. It may work, it may not. I got a ton of magnets, so, but I'm gonna wire it to that wiring harness and then change it on the speedometer. More to come. All right, so there we go. Right there, we got magnets, we got the sensor mounted, it's wired. So I'm gonna go fix the dash and then we'll take it out for a spin. All right, so I went to go test drive it and counted some pulses before we left here. It was reading, when we were rolling, it was reading about 45 miles an hour while we were just cruising in second gear here in the storage, probably about 4 or 5 miles an hour. So anyway, counted the pulses, stopped, rebooted, and went to take off, and the speedometer didn't do anything. So I went to turn around where I usually turn around at this parking lot down the street, and all the magnets came off the damn drive shaft. I have plenty more magnets. That's not an issue. I've got one right here, and there's a whole nother stack of them in this box right here. Oh yeah, I've got 4 more or 3 more here and 1 over there. So I got enough to glue back on the drive shaft. So I used this stuff. And for some reason it just didn't, I don't know why it didn't bond to the magnets good, unless I just need to let it set longer. So we'll just have to see. I'll look at the instructions and see. Maybe I need to let it set for a good while. But anyway, that's where I am right now. Thanks for watching, y'all.